Would it not have been better, Minister, instead of taking on these 4,000 people, starting lean and then, bringing the numbers up as they saw fit?
Well, Irish Water isn't taking on 4,000 people. These 4,000 people already work in the 40 authorities that currently provide water. We're already paying for that inefficiency in our taxes. The solution to that inefficiency is Irish Water. The SRI report approves of that. It just says that we should do Irish Water quicker, so let's get on with it.
Are we not maintaining that inefficiency though by keeping those people as part of the system?
Well, those people are in the system. Those 4,000 people working in 40 local authorities are an efficiency that we're all paying for in our taxes every day. The solution to that is Irish Water, and everyone, including the SRI, agrees with that. So we need to press on with Irish Water, make those efficiencies, and if there's any criticism that's any way valid, is that we should be doing Irish Water quicker.
Minister, I presume you don't agree then with the Green Party leader who said this morning that the government should go back to the drawing board in relation to this?
No, I think Eamon Ryan really doesn't get it at all. The whole point is that the 4,000 people working in the 40 authorities that now provide water are already there. We're already paying for them in our taxes. So if we don't proceed with Irish Water, we're stuck with that inefficiency forever. Irish Water is the solution. The SRI report confirms that it will deliver savings. The only criticism they do make is that we should be doing it quicker.
So is it a case that we have to condone this inefficiency until 2025, is that it?
It's not a case of condoning it, you just can't remove inefficiencies overnight. There's a lot of talk about change at the moment, a lot of talk about reform. These are major reforms. The biggest reform to our semi-states in decades, the biggest reform to local government since 1898. But it can't happen overnight.
But overnight is hardly 10 years, Minister.
There's a transition period, there's no doubt about that, and there's also an annual review as well, so it is possible to accelerate Irish Water. But again, and I can only say it again, the bottom line of the story, and it really is very simple, is there are 4,000 people in 40 authorities who are now currently paying, and they provide water services. The inefficiencies are already there, we're already paying for them. The solution to it is Irish Water, and the only criticism that's any way valid is that we should be doing Irish Water quicker.
Minister, there's been a number of stories about Irish Water now, revelation after revelation. Do you not, surrounding bonuses, consultancy, etc., do you not fear that the public are losing trust in this semi-state body before it's even up and running?
Well, I think the duty just falls to us, those of us in government and those of us who understand all the issues, to explain to people what's going on and why it makes sense. We already pay for water. We pay 1.2 billion euros a year in taxes and charges for our water. And what we're moving towards in Irish Water is a system that's much more efficient, there'll be much more investment. It'll free up money in the budget for other things that are maybe more important, things like health and education, for example.
Okay, can we get a question on the sports campus, please? That's why we're here today.
Minister, you're here today to open this new facility. What will it do?
This is really the next step, the next milestone in development of the National Sports Campus. There's a lot of things on site already, things like the Aquatic Centre and the Institute of Sport. What we're opening here today is the pavilion and the first set of pitches, which will be used for training for everyone from schools to national teams.
Minister, you have obviously 165 colleagues in the Dáil. Do you think many of them will be able to qualify for to be part of the banking inquiry? There's talk today, Arthur Spring, who's a former Anglo employee, says he wants to be on the inquiry. Do you think a former banker could be on that inquiry team?
Yeah, I'm not going to comment on any particular individual, but as far as I understand, there is going to be a bias test, and it's a little bit similar to jury selection. So, I'm sure out of over 200 TDs and senators, they'll be able to find at least a dozen who can't be accused of bias.
Just on the sports complex, Minister, do you think it is going to sort of pick out some more elite athletes in the country?
Well, I suppose it's not really about picking out elite athletes, it's more about giving them the facilities that they need. A lot of our really good athletes have to travel overseas for indoor training in particular, and the next big step after today here at the sports campus is the beginning of the extension to the Institute of Sport and the indoor arena, and that'll give our athletes the kind of indoor facilities that they don't have for the first time here in Ireland.
And there's also a chance obviously to stay on site, the athletes, because there has been complaints in the past that they can't get into the aquatic centre from living in the south side of the city, say.
Yeah, that's right. Well, that's now underway. I'm not sure if it's finished yet, but we're renovating some of the old houses that were here, the old farmhouses that were here on the site, and that means that the swimmers initially will be able to stay on the campus, which saves them a huge amount of time in travelling, and there'll be further athlete accommodation down the line.
And in terms of the GA, of course, they're going to turn their own side in this place about a month's time, is it?
I can't really make announcements for them, but certainly both the GA and the FAI facilities will be starting this year.
Minister, just briefly on another topic, were you worried at the volume of people who turned up for the Reform Alliance conference at the weekend? Around 1,300 people. I mean, a lot of them saying a new party is what they were looking for.
Yeah, I'm not that worried. I didn't make it myself. I was doing a run, the John Tracy run down in Dungarvan, where over 2,000 people turned up, so that might put some sort of perspective on it. I did think it interesting that I recognised a lot of the faces, a lot of people who were maybe disgruntled members of foreign political parties, a lot of pro-life activists, so it was interesting to see the audience that was there.
Okay, thanks very much.
Thank you.